We were off to a good start yesterday in Psalm 91, looking at those beautiful first 4 verses that talk about who God is and what God is to the psalmist who writes this particular psalm. And we can apply these things to our life as well. He's talking about security. And he's going to now, as we begin verse 5, we're going to look at some of the things that tend to rock our security, that causes us anxiety, that causes us to wonder about this, that, or the other. And as we do that, we're going to see some of the things that certainly affect our lives and the psalmist's life. So let's look at this. Verses 5 to 8, we see that he's talking about the protection of God in the face of uncertainty and even tragedy. Let's read verses 5 to 8. For you will not be afraid of the terror by night, or of the arrow that flies by day, or of the pestilence that stalks in darkness, or of the destruction that lays waste at noon. 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not approach you. You will only look on with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. So let's stop there for a moment and take a look at this. He's talking there about some of the things that challenge our security. And so there's terror by night, for example, and also the arrow that flies by day. So he's talking about things that we see coming, and maybe the things we're presently facing. But he's also talking about those things that we don't know about yet. In the darkness of night, things are sheltered. We don't see them clearly. And so I think he's talking about those things that could yet come down the line that we're not sure about, that we don't know if they're going to happen or not, but we are terrified of the thought that these things could come along and happen in our lives. And he's saying here, look, all the circumstances that face us, all the things that are going to come our way, including the things that are unforeseen, are still under the protection of God. And that's extremely important here, because we do not know the future. No one does. We don't know if tragedy awaits us around the corner. We don't know about what happens a year from now, 5 years, 10 years. We don't know the hardships that may or may not come. And we can really rattle ourselves by trying to contemplate and predict what might come and how we would react. I think we see a lot of that in our world and our country right now, because there's a lot of uncertainty in America right now. We don't know about some things, and some things that we were really secure about and sure about have been changed and are being challenged. And we don't know what's going to happen down the line, and it's very easy for us to lose our footing with these kinds of insecurity. So what do we do with these things? Personally, nationally, globally, what do we do about these things? And so he promises here that when these things come in our lives, that the Lord will be there with us. Now, we have to be careful here. This is not a blanket promise, as it seems to be on the surface, that we will never have any tragedy or difficulty befall us. That all those around us may fall, but we will never struggle with those things. What it is a promise of is that when these things come, and we may face physical, true struggles and troubles and problems, but we will not be shaken, because our security is found in our God, whom we can trust. And so he wants us to know clearly that even if awful things befall us, our security is found in him, and he will somehow see us through. Someone has said, walking with the Lord does not guarantee that the waters that come our way will not be poisoned, but it guarantees that they will be filtered. The poison that could turn us bitter will be filtered by the grace and the truth and the protection of God. And he goes on to talk about that because the truth of that is because God is our refuge. In verse 9 he says this, for you have made the Lord my refuge. I notice 3 times he says refuge. My refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil will befall you. Evil in that sense will not touch the believer. Bad things in life, difficult things will, but evil will be filtered out. Nor will any plague come near your tent, for he will give his angels charge over you concerning to guard you in all your ways. Now notice that the refuge here that he speaks of in this passage of Scripture. 3 different times, verse 2, verse 4, and now in verse 9, the Lord is our refuge. He's our hiding place. He is our protector. And so we know no matter what comes, that he will be taking care of us. When I was a little boy and would get afraid at night, maybe afraid of somebody broke into the house or somebody's hiding under the bed. You know how you are when you're little. If I could hear my dad snoring in the other room, and he snored every night, I felt secure. Because in my mind, my dad could take care of anything. And although that, of course, was the mind of a child, the truth is that when I know the presence of God in my life, no matter what comes my way, I have peace and security, and I can rest in Him, for He is my refuge no matter what comes. That's what this psalm is promising. We're going to look at a little deeper portion of this psalm tomorrow, so I trust you can be with us.